Hey, welcome back to ParaMystic Podcast. I'm your host, Kristina Bloom. And today we're going to be talking about all different kinds of healing, shamanic healing, quantum healing, breath work, Reiki, all different kinds of healing. And I have two really amazing guests here to talk to you about that. I will bring them up in a moment, but right now, I just wanted to let you know that I've got some online stuff scheduled. So starting on you're going to miss the first one. Starting on Monday, December 8th, the first Monday of every month at 7:30 p.m. Central, I will be hosting an online mediumship practice. So if you're a psychic medium or you think you've got some abilities, you have some questions, you want to practice your craft, come on in for that. I have that posted on Facebook. So all you have to do is go in, register for that. It's $10, no problem. On the third Mondays of every month coming up, I will have trance mediumship practice. So I'm hoping to just create some nice groups that can get together once a month and practice, because a lot of people tell me, they take the classes, but they don't really have anyone to practice with. So they don't really know if they're even doing well with it. So I'm offering the practice place where people can come in. It's a Zoom room where people can come in and practice. And again, that's $10 for each session. I do have some classes coming up as well. So make sure that you check out my business page, Kristina L. Bloom, Spiritual Advisor on Facebook. And you can look up those classes, the other classes as well, which will be running on Tuesday nights on alternate weeks of the practice classes. I will also on December 27th be in Antigo, Wisconsin at Book Bauble and Blessing. And I will be there doing a gallery reading and private or individual readings. So come on by, you can make an appointment with me, or you can get a hold of Rhonda at the store if you want to reserve an appointment time. And that starts at 2 p.m. All right, enough of the business stuff for the moment. Let's bring out Whitney Heuvelans and Matt Schmidt.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Fantastic. Good to see you again, Kristina.
Good to see you too. And I'm meeting Whitney for the first time today, so that's fun and exciting.
Yes, thanks for having us. We're excited to be meeting.
Yeah, it's wonderful because I have not met you at all. I don't think I've met Matt in person either. I know we've met online a few times, which is weird because we don't live that far away from each other, but it's all good. So tell me about your healing modalities, because I rattled off some stuff here. We've got some shamanism, some quantum healing, we've got breath work, we've got Reiki. Fill us in.
I don't know. It's hard to where to even start.
I know, right? It all kind of runs together. It just sort of. I was saying off camera, well, this is Matt Schmidt, and he just does a mashup of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we've all been kind of going into. Like I've pulsed from like all the different parts that I've kind of learned over the years, and what works and what doesn't. And,
right.
It's basically more tools that we can use, but like I only offer one thing really in my private work, and it's just like I don't even know what to call it anymore. It's like, it's a Matt Schmidt session. But
yeah, there you go.
Because why wouldn't you use everything that you've learned? Like it doesn't have to fit into a box. And when we try to constrict it or restrict it to a certain modality, a certain type of thing, you really end up like cutting yourself off from the magic, I think. So
I agree. And Whitney, what do you offer? Kind of the same thing, probably, huh?
Yeah,
Mishmash.
It is. I think because we're multidimensional, we're multi-sensational creatures. So, I think mixing sound with energy work is really potent and speaks to a lot of people. So I think, the ways that we can help like get through and just kind of do a lot of healing work is by kind of bridging them and mixing them, right? So I do a lot of dream work and breath work. I like to say like everybody dreams and everybody breathes. So I think, while we're in our conscious, while
there
we're
you go.
Conscious awareness kind of waking life, we can use the breath to help kind of do what we need to do. And then when we all go to sleep at night, then we have this other whole big world open up to us. So those are kind of the realms that I really like to spend most of my time.
Nice. Nice. I know that when this airs, there are going to be a lot of people in the comment section asking about interpreting dreams. Is that something that you do, help people learn how to interpret their dreams, or do you do something? I'm not sure how that works for you.
Yeah, I help them kind of, like you said, I interpret them for themselves. I will never interpret them for them because dreams are so personal and individualized. So I'll just give them tools and different techniques that they can do to help kind of decode dreams. Dreams are very symbolic and use a lot of metaphor and sometimes archetypes and things like that. So it's like once you get your own kind of lexicon and your own Rolodex of symbols, they're really kind of easy just to kind of tweeze apart and to navigate.
That's excellent. That's excellent. I know a lot of people ask me if I do dream interpretation, and it's just not something that I felt drawn to add to my repertoire. So now I know where to refer people.
Yes.
I think we've noticed that I think we've noticed as a shift in both of us, like both of what we've been doing or kind of like going into, regardless of what we're doing or how we're working with people, it's really empowering them to do this for themselves. Mm-hmm. Like, right. Regardless of how we're helping them. No, she said, I don't interpret dreams for people, but I'll teach you how to do it. and then right. People leave with that sense of, wait, I can do this? What else can I do? And then, I don't know, then the magic really starts to happen, because I don't want them to feel like they need one of us to get healing, or, you know, like the whole point is to get them where they don't need us. Mm-hmm. There you go.
Exactly. That's what I do too. In fact, my tagline on my website is empowering you to empower yourself. Like that is literally the tagline on my website. So yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Right there with you.
From a shamanic perspective, there's like 3 different ways where we get like disease or unbalanced. And, you know, the first one is power loss, soul loss, and then energetic intrusion of some sort. So it's like, really, if we can help kind of buffer and just lift people up and give them back their power, I mean, that's already like 1/3 of the healing of the population or of disease that's out there.
Right. You are absolutely correct. And we're really taught. I was on a podcast earlier this morning when we were talking about, we're taught to give away our power. Mm-hmm. Like from little on, we're taught to give away our power. Listen to the big people, you know, listen to the people in the white coats, listen to the guy with the necktie on, listen to, you know what I mean? It's like, so we're kind of taught right from the beginning to give away our power. So to have a life plan, or I'm sorry, a purpose to give people their power back, to teach people to take their power back. That is really amazing.
And isn't that really the journey for everyone? Just remembering who you are, remembering you are this powerful, like divine creature that I think we have to get pulled away from it to find it again. And that is like, that's why we're here. You know, it is to remember why we are our bigger selves, basically. And
right.
And I think that is like the lesson, right? The lesson is, oh my gosh, like, am I losing it? Am I giving it away? But without that kind of trickster, that coyote energy, like that medicine is like, okay, what is it? What am I doing here? And then it's like, oh my gosh. And then how much more powerful are you once you realize, wow, this is me. And, you know, here I am.
Right. My experience has really been that once people start taking back their power, part of the healing process is that they get angry with themselves for having given it away. Do you find that in your work too? Like people go like, why did I give my power away? You know? Yeah,
there is this roller coaster of, it's definitely not emotions. A linear path. We'll put it that way. So, I think you do go through those different phases of that, but they're also like those important stepping stones in getting,
I agree,
be more confident in yourself, to be able to trust yourself, and really just step into that further. So,
and to be able to recognize, I think, when you're giving your power away, because I think so many of us are so used to doing that, we don't even know we're doing it most of the time. We're just taught to do it, so we do it, and we don't even think about it. And I think getting to the point where you think about it and recognizing it is really key.
And I think it's like teaching kind of more like a spiral path, right? So we're on this upward trend, so we can look behind us and say, oh, how did I traverse that? And what was that experience like? And then I can move that forward, you know? And it's kind of like, yes, like you said, being over cultured or over domesticated and having those programs like in, but then it's like, all right, I've done this before. How did I, you know, manage this? How did I do this? And gaining tools along the way.
Right. I agree. I like that term, domesticated, and becoming undomesticated.
Right. Or like rewilding, right? But it's like sometimes,
Right.
you know, we're animals, you know, at our core. And it's like we're not meant to fit into cages or boxes or anything. And I think that's part of like the magic of giving that power to people back is like, you know, we're meant to roar a little bit and we're meant to growl a little bit and why not?
Right, exactly. I like that roaring and growling. Go ahead, Matt.
One of the first things that I learned as like a technique to help people is hypnosis. And people are like, oh, you hypnotize people. I'm like, actually, no, I unhypnotize them to help them, to wake them up to who they were or who they are.
Right.
Kind of the opposite of putting them in a trance is taking them out of it.
I agree with you. People don't get that though. Like, oh, I can't be hypnotized. Like it's something to brag about. And I'm like, well, because I'm a hypnotist too, right? So I've been through that training and I understand that there's that part of that where you go, no, it's all on you. You can choose to be hypnotized. You can decide that you want to dig deeper. But you're right. It's deprogramming people to get back to themselves, to get back to their own unique essence. And that is just so important in the healing process and in the growing process. You know, and sometimes I think, I'm just going to throw this out there and I'm going to ask you what you think about this, but sometimes it seems like in this arena, people get the words healing and growing confused. Like they're interchangeable sometimes. I don't know. That's just something that I've noticed because people can be on a healing path for decades and still never declare themselves healed. I'm like, what are you doing? You know, so I just threw that out there. I just want your take on it. How do you perceive something like that?
God, yeah.
All right. As far as like the healing grow, I think you're always like healing. You're always growing, and like, but you can acknowledge, hey, I've healed this, and this, and there's always more to learn when you become stagnant. How much you're actually doing it. It doesn't have to be healing in the traditional sense, but I look at any growth as like a form of kind of healing. So. What I see often is people think healing is fixing, and I often tell them if I had a magic wand could take away whatever, you're not going to learn anything. You're going to be right back where you started because you didn't learn what it was trying to teach you or trying to guide you to, or why it was happening in the first place. So I think that often people often look at that incorrectly, and I think they'll come to me like, oh, I need to fix this and I need to fix this. I'm like, well, you're not broken. Like this is trying to get your attention for a reason. And when you stop looking at it in those terms, you can make more progress because you're not like a victim of your circumstances. You see it as an opportunity for growth. And then, you know, with respect to healing, then that healing, I guess, is growth then.
I completely agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I look at it a little similar too, is like, you know, people aren't sick all the time, you know, like I need to heal. I'm like, why are you taking this medicine? Like you're not sick or diseased all the time. But I think, like you said, growth is like, you know, if you have a tree and it's stunted or there's something in the way, it's going to grow around it and maybe even better and then split off. So I think recognizing, okay, this is where I am right now in my path and my journey, and then growing and kind of deviating from that path. And like, what did we learn from that lesson? You know, and I think just that awareness is really potent in itself.
Oh, I completely agree.
I think also the intent behind it. So I started out, I was doing all this like self-improvement work and I was like, I'm doing the good stuff, right? You know, like this is great. And then I became aware that you're doing all this stuff because you still don't think you're good enough. And I'm like, oh, dang it. So it was
right.
It was all this old stuff repackaged. And it was like, but it was like on the outside, it looked good, but it was like the driving force behind it was because I still didn't feel adequate. And I felt like I had to do all this stuff to make up for, rather than addressing the actual issue. So.
Right. Right. And sometimes getting to that core actual issue, that can be the thing that we work on self-improvement a lot for years and years and years, but never look at that core, because that one hurts too much. You know, I'm sure I did that. In fact, I know I did that at some point. So, but I've also seen a lot of other people do that, where it's like, well, if I just forgive all these people and I don't actually look at the pain, I can be okay. And it just goes so much deeper than that, I think. So, Whitney, what have you seen in your work as far as how breath work affects people? Because I think enough people don't, I'm like, well, I'm breathing. What's the problem? Well, there's breathing, and then there's breathing.
Right. Yes. I think we trap a lot of emotions and different, if you want to say trauma, in the body, right? And we hold it in the cells of our body, and then we get, we don't breathe, and we have restricted breathing. We have then restricted ways of doing things. We get stuck in habits, and then that perpetuates, right? So I think like breath work and just breathing and just knowing how your breath pattern is super, super important, and then also there's all the physiological effects of, if you breathe consistently and freely, then, you're oxygenating more, your muscles are less tense, your cortisol levels can go down, blood pressure can go down. So, I mean, in a physical arena, it's very, very powerful. But then it's also too, like, what are we holding or restricting or stifling in ourselves that is coming from an emotion? So I think, breath work can do so many things on so many levels. And that's why I think it's beautiful. So that's why so, and then I also do like breath work, like breakthrough breath work, which can be, a little bit more kind of propelling yourself into like different states of like consciousness, and being able to get into and reach that like liminal space of meditation for some people who are like, oh, I can't just sit and meditate and stare at a flame. There's other ways of doing it. The Sufis, they spin, some people chant. So breath work is also another way to get people into that space where they can really, really do some good digging.
I love that. Matt, what is do you work with breath work as well? Is that part of what you do with people?
More so on the receiving end. I do breathing with stuff, basically to like move energy in the middle of our work, because stuff can just move quicker when you incorporate the breath.
Right.
I feel a lot of people's stuff, so I can feel when it moves out of their body. When we breathe with it, it's like stuff goes quick. My own experiences being on the receiving end of the breath work is like, I've had experiences I didn't even know were possible without substances with the breath. I've been able to release stuff that I couldn't get there. Like my mind would get in the way. It's great for people that are like analytical, because there's nothing to think about, nothing to figure out. And it's almost on like a different level, where even if you've addressed the things around it, sometimes your body still holds it. And it finally gives it permission basically to finally go. So
that cellular memory can be really strong.
And you don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to have all the pieces of the puzzle. Sometimes it's just almost plumbing, where it's like, okay, let's move this out. Like,
flush it out. There you go.
40 years ago, let's get the rest of you up to speed with you. So
excellent.
These human bodies hang on to stuff pretty well. So
they really do, don't they? And I think part of it, we need to hang on to stuff. Like we need to remember how to walk from day to day. We need to remember how to talk and brush our teeth and, talk to people and all of that. But yeah, we do hold on to a lot of other stuff. So actually, I'm going to go in a little bit different direction with this. So sorry for the curveball. On last week's show, we were discussing trusting your body's intuition. And that is such a powerful topic, I think, to incorporate that into any kind of healing that you're doing, regardless of what it is, or even the need for healing, like listening to your body when your body is saying, I need oxygen, or when your body is saying, this hurts. Can we do something about this? So I just wanted to kind of toss it out. And how do you work with people with learning to trust their own body intuition? Because I think we tend to separate intuition from body, but I think it has to work together.
Definitely. Like the way I kind of help teach people is like kind of the lower energy centers or chakras, if that's something that they know about, is a lot of instinct, right? You get that gut feeling, and we know that the gut is like, the second, third brain from your heart, and it has a lot of substance there. And then I think like the upper chakras, I always say like that's the intuition. You might get more of the downloads, you might get more of just the cognizance, the knowing. So I kind of just like everybody gets it a little bit different, but it's very strong once you're like, oh, that's what that is. Oh, that's why I had the goosebump response, so it's like just paying attention and just kind of tuning in. And then they're like, oh, I've been doing this whole time. That's what it is. It's usually they're getting those intuitive hits, but they aren't really listening. Or
not recognizing, maybe.
Right. Oh, they're not heeding the warning. They're like, yeah, I should have, did this and I knew it, but I didn't. Right. So like they aren't taking the action.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what about you, Matt? How do you work with people with learning to listen to their body and the intuition that their body is giving them?
It's funny. That's literally the last class I was doing this week. I was teaching a whole retreat on. It's called "Listen to Your Body and Heal Yourself."
Well, there you go. Here's your platform.
So yeah, like I see the body as a messenger. It's always talking to us. It's always communicating to us. Most of the time, we're not listening to it, or we don't know how to listen to it. Okay, what is this trying to tell me? It's not trying to trick you. It's trying to get your attention for some reason, and it's usually when we're not listening to anything else that it like, okay, let's turn this up because you're still not listening. And I used to get sick like 5 or 6 times a year. I can't remember the last time I've been sick. Because as soon as I start to get like feel a little bit off, I'm like, okay, what do you need? Like I talk to my body. It sounds weird, but it's like, it's always communicating. It's always listening, and listening back to it when it's trying to get your attention is huge. So I don't try to plow through anything. I don't try to finish the next project. It's like, okay, and I stop doing whatever I'm doing and like, okay, what do you need? And it's been
yeah.
Danger.
I love that. I think it's unfortunate that a lot of people feel like they, for whatever reason, can't stop and listen to their body. It's like, well, I have to get this done. I have to get this done. And particularly, I think if you work for someone else or for a corporation, people are always feeling kind of under the gun and like, I have to do this. And going into work sick, so everybody else gets sick, right? So it's this whole thing about not being able to listen to our bodies in a 3D world that treats us like we're machines.
Yeah. The irony is, like, I used to be out of commission for 3-4 days when I got sick. Now I listen to my body, and within hours I'm fine. Like,
right?
I'm not, like, I don't end up getting sick. So, like, if you look at the big picture, what was I actually gaining by, trying to keep going through that extra? Like, and how good of a job are you actually doing? And it's like, it was such an eye opener for me that, yeah, when you're in that alignment with your body, when you're listening, like, you don't need those loud messages because you're doing what it's telling you.
Yeah. And my personal experience has been that when I ignore it, eventually it gets loud enough to where I can't ignore it anymore. And I think our bodies are designed that way, but we tend to push through and not listen to our bodies. And I think that that's a really unfortunate thing. And how we can, that spread that across every category of our lives. It's not just with physical health. It's also with paying attention to what's going on around you and your body giving you clues about you might not want to be right where you are right now. Time to move, And
I've learned the other thing too. It's always listening. So how are you talking to your body? Like most of the people that I've had with autoimmune issues is from the way they talk to themselves or the beliefs they've taken on about themselves. Oh, I hate myself. I'm not good enough. And like your body's like, oh, this is garbage. All right, let's help. And it like goes into attacking itself. It tries to clear it out. And you end up with all these issues. And when we change the why that's happening.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. And then I've just really been focusing on with like women and my daughter is like during like our moon time right? Our moon time, we can be highly intuitive, highly sensitive, but then that's also a time just to really like go inward and to rest, right? We have this like hurry sickness society where everything's go, go, go. But instead it's like, how can we teach this to be like, no, this is my time. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to honor what my body is telling me and to what it needs, right? And to nourish it the way that I need to. So I think like if we could switch that perspective and start to teach our young ones that, and then to honor that cycle, then I think it could help a lot in the long run. And then just honoring that cycle and that perspective.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I know that there are a lot of women who don't feel like they have the freedom to do that, or like a monthly cycle is something to be ashamed of, or something like that, because that's what a lot of us learned in this society. Not everybody, but a lot of women have learned that, like you just hide it away, you don't talk about it, you just take care of whatever you have to in private. And not that we all need to go out and advertise whatever it is we're going through, but I've noticed that too, where it's been something like that, where we have to unlearn shame, right? We have to unlearn that is something that is not okay, because it absolutely is okay. Our bodies are designed that way. But so many of us, especially, I mean, I know I'm quite a bit older than you guys, but when I was growing up in the 70s, it was like, don't talk about it. That's something to be, no, that's bad. Just keep that hidden. And so therefore, a lot of us went through a lot of trauma. And I think it's still going on in some aspects today too. But I feel like maybe it's just the people I hang out with or the people I communicate with. But I do feel like the world is more open about those things now.
Sure.
Yeah, we've started pockets where we have like moms talking to their daughters, and we have moon cycle classes, because we're like, this is an empowered time. Like, you're stronger, your senses are heightened, and you're intuitive, you're creative. So it's like your dreams are going to be a lot more profound and vivid, and you're going to want to create whatever that is. If it's painting, poetry, whatever it is, it's like, this is your center stage. This is your moment. So I think, just bringing that back, because I think the reason it was downplayed for a lot of times is because, society or the patriarchy, whatever, was like, oh no, this is a powerful time, and we don't want them to know how powerful it can be. So I think we're kind of bringing that back.
I love that. It is. Had I been taught that it was a powerful time, my life would have been so much easier. Seriously, we just don't teach that anymore. All right. So I know you guys do retreats. You mentioned a retreat before. So tell me, is that something you do together or separately, both?
Yeah, we have we've done some like day retreats, and then we've been doing we've done couples retreats. We've done, we have one coming up this summer. It's a deep healing retreat. That's always a great time. Like, it's a deep dive into everything, but then there's a big integration piece, because we've noticed, we've had this conversation like multiple times, like, how do we get people not to rubber band back? They have these peak spiritual experiences or these healings, and then a month later you talk to them and they're right back where they started. I'm like, okay, what do we need to to figure out how to keep them on this new trajectory that they've kind of unlocked? So that's why we try to incorporate that into the retreat space now. So we'll do like a follow-up call, and we'll check in with everyone like a month later, and some accountability part to keep them, to make the healing stick. So
right. And I know I've been to retreats, and it's this great, wonderful experience, and then you get back into your life and it just sort of fades away. The experience just sort of fades. You still have the memory of it, but it's not the impact. And I don't think we're meant to carry impact all the time. I mean, that would be exhausting, but so I understand what you're saying, though. That integration piece is so important with the follow-ups and then
getting them to giving them some tools they can take, because like life doesn't stop because you go through go to this event and you're like, oh, I'm all good now. If I just stay here, I'll be fine.
Right. Exactly. Can I just move in? That's awesome. Thank you.
It's unrealistic. So
it is. I mean, that's why treatment programs have aftercare, right? to keep it going, to keep it integrating.
Mhm.
So I think that's an important thing too, is that whole aftercare and accountability part is really important. So you have this deep healing retreat coming up next summer.
Yeah, we do it every year. So it's at Golden Light Healing in Sobieski, which is just north of Green Bay, about 20 minutes, and beautiful space, like 200 acres, and they have cabins, and I don't know, it's lovely. So.
Wonderful. Do you have dates set for that already?
July 10th through 12th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Just going off the top of my head.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Okay, and people can find that information to register for it on your website?
Yep, under events, and then so
okay.
There's a bunch of other events that we have throughout the year, but they're all listed there. And we also have a list of all the spiritual and wellness fairs in the state of Wisconsin listed there, because I had a hard time finding them when I first started, so I started keeping a list, and it's been growing over the last like 3-4 years, and I think there's probably like 80 fairs just listed for this year alone. So
I'm sure just the few that I'm connected in with, I have to make choices, you know, am I going to this fair or this fair, because they're happening on the same day. So yeah, that's
I was
awesome.
missing stuff down the road, and I was like, how this, didn't even hear about this one. So now that I kind of know the players and stuff like that, I can put it out there just for everyone to have access to it, basically.
That's excellent. So if people are looking for a place to be a vendor or a place to go to experience a fair, it's all right there.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I wish I'd known that. Now I do know that.
Yeah.
I now have information. That's awesome. Awesome. So what are some of the other things that you do? I mean, you go to other people's events, but do you do other things as well? Or how do you get yourselves out there, I guess?
I do a lot on YouTube. Like I started all the stuff I started teaching in like classes and workshops and stuff like that. I started putting out on videos because I feel everyone should have access to this stuff. Like if you're willing to put in the work, you should be able to have the tools to do it. So that's why I kind of created the channel. And then that's how a lot of people, that's usually where I send people first. And then when they get stuck there and they need extra help, then they like come see me. And my work with people is pretty in depth. It's like 4 to 6 hours is pretty average for the time I spend with a person. And we're going through all the layers of stuff. And I mean, it's intense. It's not for everyone, you know, but at the right time, it's like the fastest way I know to get people to where they're trying to get. So
people can make those appointments on your website?
They just reach out and contact me because I work all over the world, and I also don't want someone like, here, fix my mom, because it doesn't work out very well. So,
right. Yeah.
It's not a treatment. You're not going in for it. You know, it's like, it's a deep dive into, you know, the depths of your soul to see what's been holding you back from experiencing the fullness of life. So
excellent.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. I was just going to ask you another question. I totally forgot what it was. So I guess that wasn't the right question to ask.
I think it's kind of interesting what I've been seeing kind of as a theme is like people are going back to remembering what life was like when they were 3 years old, 4 years old, you know, a time when they felt free, when they were like, when they didn't have all these like confines put on their life, you know, when they were unrestricted, uninhibited, they just got to like be themselves. And really that's what everyone's getting back to is like before life happened, you know, they're dumping off all this stuff. It's not something way out there that's like unattainable or you have to like achieve this high thing. It's like, no, you just have to dump off all the crap you've packed on to get back to your true self. So
I love that. I love that. That's always been a theory of mine, is that we don't have to learn to love ourselves. We already do love ourselves. We just have to peel away all the layers that make us not be able to access that love for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love how you do that. That's amazing.
It's really
one of these days, I'm going to be in your space, which would be awesome.
Hey.
That would be cool.
And something I think we really try to do too is like we take it to the streets kind of thing, is like really, I think community is the new currency. And that's really, really what people are craving. And that's what people are telling us. That's what we're experiencing. And it's just like getting kind of just like this healing network of you know, people who are going through something or people who have something to offer, but it's just like it's coming together, and it's less polarization and more unity. And then that's really, really how things have been really, really elevated lately.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I've been noticing that too, where people are really kind of just, we're all done with the whole chasing thing. You know, we don't want to be chasing stuff just to get the stuff and then realize we got too much stuff. We got to get rid of some stuff. You know, like that's become such a vicious cycle in our society. And I feel like so many of us overall become owned by our stuff, you know, and what's really real is in here. It's really about going back and finding that inner love and that inner joy. And I just think that the work that both of you are doing is just so incredible. And thank you for making yourselves available for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people feel really alone going through this, and it's like the community's out there, you know, but they don't know how to come across these people. How, like, especially we were talking about this the other day. It's a Friday night. We don't go out. We don't go to, like, how do you end up meeting people that are like, you know, that are on the same kind of wavelength as you? And it's like, even though I do have stuff free out there, people still show up to the exact same thing I posted for free. It's like, cause what's different? They want that connection. They want that, like, family, the community, the thing that they've been like, the emptiness they've been feeling or craving, I guess. And kind of looking for that. And
and we have like a wide web of people that we know, and that's why we're like, reach out to us, like, you know, just if we're not your people, we'll find you your people, you know, we'll find them for you, and we'll do that because it's like everybody's is really wanting that connection, and it's there, you know, if they're seeking, it's there.
Absolutely. I think connection is really missing more than almost anything else. In the way that society has turned over the last decade, you know, probably century, you know, where we've all become so much our own little pods that we don't reach out and connect with community. And we kind of forget how to reach out and connect with community. You know, and as we're growing, this is another thing, as we're growing, how our communities change.
Yeah.
You know, friends leave. Okay. Well, new friends are coming, but where do I find them?
Yeah.
You know, and people who have, for whatever reason, had to, for their own safety, their own self, step away from family. Where do we find a new family? Where do we find that connection? And it doesn't have to be family for sure, you know, where I don't think we're all out there looking for new parents and new siblings, but just that really strong community connection. And I love that you guys put out there in such a way that people can actually reach out and find you. You know, I absolutely love that. So
that's kind of a lot of what we do. And it's like, hey, I have a person for that. You know, we can't do it. All I can give you is one perspective. I can give you what I offer, but like, hey, you need someone that's not me. Hey, I know someone. And it's like, we have this invisible network of people, and it's not, like, I think people are starting to realize that, like, oh, I can just ask, like, and someone knows someone. So,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I can't help every person that comes to me either, because maybe I'm not their person. I'm not the one that's meant to help them. So the more people that I can refer to, the more people I have contact with, I can refer people out. You know, people come to me with dreams, I'm sending them right to Whitney. She can teach them how to do that, because that's just not something that I've ever done, I guess. And when I have tried to coach people, I'm like, well, what does this mean to you? What is the symbolism for that? People are like, can't you just tell me what it means? No, I can't. Sorry. It's way too convoluted. I have no idea what it means, but I have a feeling you do. You know, so I love that as well.
We had a cool thing happen like that. Someone tagged me in a post online on Facebook. They lived across the country. Hey, I have a friend in Green Bay who's in the hospital. Is there anyone that can go visit her? I was out of town. I shared it. 3 people went and visit this stranger in the hospital. That, like,
oh, I love that.
that is such a beautiful story. And it's like, that's why we have this community. And like, yep, what's her room? I can be there. And like, these people don't even know her. They didn't even ask any questions. Where am I going? What do I need? And
Right.
3 people met there, and they like, talked to this lady and, just gave her some support. She had been through a lot. So yeah, no, I didn't even know this person, but it all lined up, and,
That's wonderful. What a beautiful story.
Right there.
Yeah. And that is the power of community.
Yeah.
I love
the
that.
ripple effect is huge. Like it is very, very powerful. The ripple becomes a wave, and we're all riding it, right?
We are. Some of us are holding on for dear life, and others are on board just going, woo, but we're all riding that wave. That's awesome. That is awesome. I want to thank you both so much for being here and for sharing your wisdom and your community with it. And I know that these broadcasts go out to a lot of people, so I'm sure that your community will continue to expand. I know mine has, since I started with All Access Network Television. Huge. It's just really huge. So I want to thank you both again for being here. And if you would like to connect with either Matt or Whitney, you can find them at www.mattschmidt, that's with a DT, QH.com. And for Whitney, you just put her name on a slash back after that. So thank you both so much. And I look forward to meeting you both in person sometime soon.
Thank you, Kristina.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
All right. Take care.
All right. You too.
See you next time on ParaMystic Podcast.